Morning Travel News Network. I am Deja Green.
And I'm Elizabeth Thomas.
Spartanburg students set sail for Stone Village known as Skara Brae in the Orkney Islands of Scotland.
The student is Morgan Link, a native of Washington, D.C. She is an anthropology student at Wofford College.
Morgan says she wants to visit the village and spend a little time with friends who live there.
But life in Skara Brae is nothing like life here. Correspondent Shelby Thorpe is on the scene at Skara Brae to interview Morgan as well as some of the citizens of the village. Shelby?
Hey y'all, I'm Shelby Thorpe and I'm on site in the village of Skara Brae in the Scottish Orkney Islands. I'm here with student Morgan Link, who just finished a long journey across the Atlantic. Morgan, why did you come all this way to a village so unlike Spartanburg?
Well, I just have a passion for archaeology and anthropology, and it's such a historic place to live, so I thought, why not come and visit my friend over here?
Well, how did you meet this friend?
Well, I've never actually met her in person. We've been pen pals for like 3 years, and I feel like I actually know her, so why not?
I really get that. It's such an interesting place to finally meet her. Now, back to Delaney Walden and headquarters with a little bit about the weather trends to expect in Orkney.
Hi, I'm meteorologist Delaney Walden. The weather in Skara Brae today is typically very windy, and therefore it's usually very cold. We often get quite a few storms since we're on the cliff. We have to be ready for a storm at all times. However, the residents here have thick slate stone doors to deflect the wind, and the residents' houses are also built out of stone, which provides very good insulation for the cold. The stone also withstands the high winds and rains associated with the storms we get here. People spend most of their days indoors, but on the occasional nice sunny day, they get to go outside. Each house is equipped with a central hearth to heat the whole home. Back to you, Shelby.
Thank you so much, Delaney, for that insight into the weather to expect. I have with me here student Morgan and her friend Liz Massey. Liz, what does daily life look like for you?
So here at Skara Brae, we all walk around with animal skins on as a great way to stay warm because it's really cold out there, and animal skin is actually quite insulating. There's only so much small community, not many people here. There's only 6 to 8 houses, and these houses are connected by like paved alleys, which is super useful because it's really cold and we see each other all the time. So it's a great way to interact. And when it's raining outside, we don't want to be getting muddy, Yeah, so our houses, they're just made of one rectangular room, which so we're super connected, super close to our family. Like we see everything that happens. So we have really good relationships. Yeah, and the doors to our houses are very low and narrow. So when you're walking through them, make sure you duck, because otherwise you're going to hit your head, and I've done that a few times and it's not very fun. Yeah, and it's also really useful because it's cold out here, so it will stop the cold air getting in, so try and keep some of that hot air inside. Yeah.
Wow, that seems pretty different from what your friend Morgan experiences in Spartanburg. What do you have in terms of sewage systems?
See, we're pretty smart. Like we did kind of think about this when we implemented. So our sewage system is quite good here, which is quite, important because we don't want any of those smells, and it kind of maintains some like health conscious people. How mums always go on, like what my mum's like. So our daily life, like it makes it a bit less depressing for us, not having to smell the sewers, because our life is pretty depressing anyway. Like we don't have much wildlife or like nice flowers or anything. Like we don't even have any trees on this island. Yeah, which is kind of super sad. Yeah. So to survive, because we don't really have those wildlife, we make use of tools. And this we use notch flakes as a way to survive. So if you go around the village, you'll probably find a lot of these flakes lying around, and I'll definitely be teaching you how to use them.
Have your people been living in Skara Brae long?
I would say that we've been here for like a decent amount of time. Like a few of our ancestors have been here, but like it's hard to say. But like a lot of their houses had a lot of storm damage because we get quite a lot of storms every year, so we just prepare yourself for that. So like the buildings that they used to use, they're like super damaged. So to keep living here, we've had to build new houses on top of their old ones. But the designs have pretty much stayed the same, and we've used the same material because they knew what they were doing, and like we haven't got many resources up here. So yeah, like I mean most of it is stone, and it's still just the one building situation. And inside of our houses, which you will probably notice, is pretty bare. Like our furniture is made out of stone, which can be quite cold to sit on, which she's definitely going to be experiencing. For a while.
So what's the sleeping situation?
So our beds are anywhere from like 7 foot by 3 foot 6 inches to like 5 foot by 3 foot. So you'll definitely be able to fit in one. And our mattresses are made of ferns or heather. Depending, like I'm not quite sure which one my mum's wearing at the moment, so they're not super comfortable. And we don't have really any hotels or anything like that, or any extra buildings. So you're definitely staying with me, which I hope you don't mind. There are a small recess in the wall above the beds that you keep some of your like personal possessions in and everything, like a glass of water at night or anything like that. So like our beds are on either side of the fireplace, so that will help us stay warm at night because it can get cold. But the bed on the right side of the fireplace tends to be a lot bigger, so we can be arguing about who gets that later.
Wow, are the people there like really short? I mean, some of the beds seem like they might be a little small.
No, I can see why you're asking that because we've got like the low doorways and everything. But no, like they're not any shorter than we are. I mean, unfortunately, my grandmother did pass away not too long ago, and she was quite old, and I mean she was still 5 foot and like 5 inches, so she was still a decent height at her old age. Yeah.
Well, is there anywhere to store larger things?
Yeah, there is. The rear wall of the hut has another like recess place, which can be used kind of like a dresser of sorts. So like if you've got any like big like I don't know what you have, but you can definitely keep it back there for sure.
Okay, and what will I be eating here?
Oh, great question. That's the most important thing. So mostly our diet is like meat from our livestock. So that's cattle, sheep, and even shellfish. So definitely getting that omega-3 in. And we drink a lot of milk here because we have the cattle. So we just try to use everything we can from the animals. It's just easy because we've got that source. And actually, it's quite weird, but we actually feed our sheep with seaweed. Like we really don't have the resources, so anything we can get hands on, we make use of.
Wow. So is there anything I need to keep in mind as a visitor in y'all's village?
I wouldn't really say so. Like we're pretty peaceful people. Like we don't really have weapons because like we just wouldn't use them against each other. So there's no need. So like you're gonna be totally fine with everyone. And like our daily activities, they really are quite laborious. Like they're really hard work and tiring. Like a lot of us are like hunters, fishermen, like we even rear like sheep and cattle. So you can imagine like every day in the cold and the rain, like we're pretty tired. So keep that in mind. Like some people might be like in bad moods or something. Hopefully not though. But yeah, one thing that we do really like is pottery. So if you want to buy anything like a gift or anything as like a thank you, I would definitely recommend like getting them some because it really means a lot to them. So the style of pottery that we actually really like it's called boudoir. And it's like they have flat bottoms and like straight sides. and then it's like decorated with a style of roofs. So like this is native to Skara Brae, so I would definitely say, you know, if you can access this type of pottery, buy this type, because that will just show them, you know, that you understand their culture really well, and they definitely will really like it, for sure. And it will be staying on their dresses and will be used for many generations.
That's good to know. Are there any like events that I can look forward to while I'm here?
I mean, we do worship a lot of our ancestors, and the gods like moon and sun do really mean a lot to us. So like they are very important. Like we have monuments around the area that like align with them. And that we also worship like the spirit of the sea, because we believe that the spirit of the sea helps control like our seasons and make sure that like the land is good for our next harvest. And like because we don't have many like resources or anything to access, like we really need the best harvest that we can, because otherwise, you know, we're not going to be eating anything, which I definitely don't want. But then other than that, like nothing really happens. But yeah, we do get very excited when it stops raining and it's not super windy, which unfortunately you're gonna witness doesn't happen that much.
Well, that was an interesting look into life at Skara Brae.
Yes, it is. If you are planning on visiting anytime soon, you could even refer back to this broadcast as a travel guide of sorts.
You certainly could, Elizabeth. Next week, we'll continue traveling around the UK, taking a stop in Stonehenge.
Well, that's a wrap for today. I'm Elizabeth Thomas.
And I'm Deja Green. And you've been watching Travel News Network. See you at 4 next Thursday.